Hey, ya peepsy doodles. Alrighty, so this video is going to kind of be a little mixture, so it's probably going to be a little lengthy, so I apologize. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but you know how I like to talk. So this is going to be partially a recommendation video and partially a kind of how-to / sharing video. All kinds of goodies for you. So first of all, I want to tell you guys about my recommendation, and I have put this all over my Pyperh page. I am like completely dumbfounded by how much I'm learning from it, so I want to share it with you guys. So this is the book, So You Want to Be a Medium, by Vanden. Eynden. Ooh, can you see it? There you go. So it's So You Want to Be a Medium, a down-to-earth guide. Now, as you guys have heard me say probably a million bajillion times before, I have been into anything spiritual, paranormal, ghostly, haunting stuff ever since I was little. Like, even before I knew anything about Wicca or anything like that. And I don't know if when you guys were little, in grade school, you'd get like the scholastic book fairs where you'd get these little pamphlets and you'd turn through them and get all excited and you'd order them and wait like 50 bajillion years and then you'd finally get your book in and you get so excited. Well, I never really got to order anything from those because my mommy didn't let me, which was fine. But one year, second grade, we got one of those and I was looking through it. And I can't find the freaking book, but my mommy let me order my first ever paranormal book. And I think it was actually called Do You Believe in Ghosts? And it went through and explained different, looking at it now, it's extremely, it's not very accurate. But it was the first ever book that I had. I read through that bitch like 50 times, and I mean, it was my Bible. I used it for everything. I was in second grade. And then, as I grew older, and I found out about paganism, and my practice grew, and up until now, all of my practice in ghosts, in spirits, in the paranormal, has just grown exponentially. And especially now being in Reiki, I feel like my paganism side and my ghost side kind of comes together, or spiritual side kind of comes together in Reiki, just because, I have never been one to stop and get to know my spirit guides. I've wanted to, I just never have taken the time to, and that's my own fault. I sit and there's videos that I watch from Flora or from Charlie where they talk about being in touch with their spirit guides, and I'm like, oh, I want that, but I'm the dumbass that doesn't sit and reach for it. So that's my own fault. But I know they're there, especially after going. Reiki has opened me up to so much. And like I have told you guys before, if you haven't been Reiki certified in at least level 1, I highly recommend it. It is so worth it. But anyway, sorry, I got a nasty cold I woke up with this morning, so I know it's annoying. I apologize. So, anyway, especially things that I see or that come about in Reiki, I know even more so now that I have spirit guides that are prevalent. So one of the things that I've always wanted, ever since I was little, is to be able to have some sort of spirit communication. I've tried Ouija boards and had success with them. When I go on paranormal investigations, I do, the scientific side with EVP, with recorders, with cameras. But I've always wanted to have that psychic medium aspect where I am able to communicate with spirit guides, to communicate with people that have passed on, to communicate with other beings, and to be able to help other people. I've always wanted to be able to, talk with someone who had just had a loved one pass, or that has questions or whatever, that I can get a hold of my spirit guides, their spirit guides, and give them answers. I'm not a big people person, but when it comes to stuff like that, that's what I want to do. That's what I want. And so, along with the Reiki practice, of course. So, lately, especially, I have been delving into books on developing your psychic whatever, all your psychicness. And I have, of course, a bunch of books, but, you just keep buying more because you forget you have them and you get home and you're like, shit, I just had like 4 books already on psychic development and let me just buy another one. But I went, and I don't know if you guys do this, I went to a bookstore, and I don't get to this big one. It's called BAM, Books A Million. It's very similar to Barnes & Noble, just a different name. And no, I don't get there very often because it's an hour and a half away. So when I do go, oh my God, when I do go, I do one of these things where I'll pick up a book, pick up this book. If I can look at it and say, oh, that was really cool. If I can put that book back, then I don't need it. But if I pick up a book and I look at it, look through it, and I go to put it back and I physically can't, or if I put it back, I get like this gut feeling like you need to pick that back up, then I know that I need to go home with it. And I will also do this thing where I'll take my fingers and I'll just run it across, because a lot of times you just kind of look and see if your eyes grasp any of the titles and you pick them up. But I'll also, if they're not grasping anything, I'll take my fingers and just like run along the titles. And if it stops on something, I know to pick it up. So I went to the section where this was and I looked through it probably 3 times. And I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing here that I need. That's fine. This was this past weekend. And once I went back, because I'd left and I'd come back and I'm like, there's something here. I just had this nagging feeling like there is a book here that I need. It's here. I gotta find it. So I did that and I stopped on this and I picked it up and immediately I read, So You Want to Be a Medium. And I'm like, what a janky title. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's like all of these really pretty titles like Spirit Communication for such and such or blah, 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 blah. No. So You Want to Be a Medium. And I'm like, well, it answers my question. I do. I just literally like 2 days prior was talking to Kevin and I'm looking on Amazon. I'm like, I want to find a book about mediumship and to figure out if somebody that isn't born with that kind of ability is able to form that ability, because I honestly didn't know. So I look at this book and I look at the back and I kind of immediately the first thing it says is mediumship potential is present in every person. Our spirit guides and loved ones on the other side want to communicate with us and help us as much as possible. Blah blah blah. Friendly, straightforward guide by this person. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, well it's already answering 2 of the questions that I was asking. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I went to go put it back. I couldn't. Like, it was with me. It kind of was already like I already bought it. So I took it home. I start reading it. And one of the things I actually read today, because she was going through, she was talking about different guides and how you have 5, at least 5, inner guides. And one of them, the doctor teacher is I think what she calls him. She says, do you ever go into a bookstore and run your hand along the titles of the book and you stop on one and you can't put it back? That's your doctor teacher telling you that you need that book. And I'm like, oh my God! Like, I was so excited. I'm like, that's what I did with this book. That's what I do all the time. And so I'm telling you guys, if you have any interest, even if it's not in like, spirit ghost communication. Most of this book, from what I've read so far, is getting to know your spirit guides. I'm actually, my bookmark right now is on what's called Digging In. So I'm assuming the last half of this book is all about actual spirit communication, readings, sittings. But the first part of this book, I mean, I have learned so much, and now I'm a firm believer that, okay, everybody possesses this ability, anybody can do it. I mean, she also tells you, she's like, this isn't just something where you're going to sit your ass down and be like, oh, I'm a medium, no, it's work. If you want to be able to communicate with your spirit guides and with spirit, it is work, it's demanding, it requires your full attention and time, if you're going to do this, it's something you devote yourself to. And so she goes through and she gives you different terms so that you know exactly what you're talking about. She tells you about the different laws of spiritualism. She talks about preparation of the mind and body. She gives you a whole bunch of different exercises. She tells you immediately to get a journal so you can write down all of your experiences. She asks you questions. One of the first things she asks when you open the book is, tell me why you want to be a medium. And she goes, don't read ahead. tell me why you want to be, so I wrote a page. I'm like, and everything that I wrote, she then explained, if you said this or this or this or this, then keep reading because this is definitely for you. And I'm like, woo! You know, I'm all freaking excited. She goes into breathing exercises and why that's so important. She goes into who's who in the spirit world, which is what I was telling you guys about, how you have different guides. You have a joy guide, a protector guide, a doctor teacher, a doctor chemist, and then a master guide. And then you have, like, ascended masters, which is, like, Jesus, Buddha, that kind of stuff that you can actually call on their energies and work with those. You have an outer band of guides that kind of you can call on and they'll come and go. But those 5 guides that I originally said are ones that are with you from the time you're born to the time you pass over. They are with you. And I'm like, oh my God. So she gives you different exercises on how to learn who they are and what they do. And I mean, blah! Obviously, I'm super excited. I've already talked 11 minutes about this. So, awesome freaking book. Super excited. She also goes through like a whole chapter and she gives you a bunch of different meditations and says, okay, one of the biggest things you have to learn for being a medium is how to meditate because that's how you get a hold of a lot of your guides. So she gives you like starting from super basic to and adds as it goes. And then she'll be like, okay, do this meditation for a week straight. Then switch to this meditation and add this to it and do it for another week. Like she has it all laid out for you. And then, like I said, now I'm getting into the digging in, which is all of the, and I'm kind of doing stuff as I go, but I'm also reading through it all, and then I'll go back. And so, fantastic book. Highly recommend it for all those people that are into spirit, anything. Really good book. The next thing I just want to touch on for you guys is, I know a while ago I mentioned to you making a Reiki box. So, and I know I kind of showed it to you. I made a Reiki box. And basically what that is, for people that are not Reiki practitioners, is an affirmation box. And what you do is you create your box, and I have Reiki symbols on all the sides and inside, and I've, put my own energy into it and everything like that. And what you do is you put affirmations into your box. So, for example, this one says, I am financially abundant. I make time for myself daily to practice spiritually. I think I have ones that are like, yeah, I mean, just like, but there's stuff in here that's more specific. And basically, like I said, what you do is you write things down as it's already happened. And then every day, whether you're a Reiki practitioner and you give Reiki to the box every day, or you're doing it as just an affirmation box and you just put energy into the box every day and spend time with it, what this will do is add energy to the box and to all of your affirmations and to help send those energies into the universe. So let me tell you why I think everybody should have one. I made the box quite a while ago, but I finally started putting affirmations in the box about a week ago. And I sat and I've done a few sessions with the box. And 2 of the affirmations I put into the box that were more specific have actually occurred already. One of them I asked for it was financially abundant, but I asked to have some sort of income when I start my clinicals next semester, because they were hiring somebody to take over my job position full-time, and I was going to have like 6 hours of income per paycheck. It was not going to be good. And at work, a position ended up opening up downstairs for me to work nights, so I mean, it was huge. And then the other thing, which was really awesome, is I have a little bit of credit card debt. It's not like $1,000 million bajillion dollars. But it was a couple $100, and, it was more than that, but I've been slowly paying on it, and I wanted it to be paid off before I started school, and I still had like $600 on it. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. We've got all this stuff to still pay off. And so I wrote down as one of my affirmations, I am debt-free by January 1st, 2015. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to happen. That's like 2 weeks away, but you know what? I'm going to write it down. I'm going to let the universe take care of it. I'm just going to add energy to the box. So, we ended up getting completely blindsided, like had no idea this was coming, $1,000 to help. I mean, it was completely unexpected, and we got it. Yeah. So we got $1,000, and that $1,000 was told to us that was specifically to be used to help pay off debt and to start the year. Like, that is what that person told us when we were given that, is this is for you to use to help pay off your debt and to get everything settled for the new year. So, as of right now, I am debt-free and had no idea a week ago how the hell that was going to happen. It was just an affirmation. I put it in the box. I said, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm going to add energy to it, and I'm going to believe into it. And within a week, I've had 2 affirmations that were specific that have already occurred. So, it's not a game. It's not pretend. If you guys actually spend the time and energy to do something, whether you make a Reiki box and are a Reiki practitioner, or you're not a Reiki practitioner and you just make an affirmation box, I highly recommend doing one and putting it on your altar or in your sacred space, or even next to your bed at night, and adding a little bit of energy to it every day. Every full moon, go through your affirmations, get rid of ones that have already come to fruition, and add new ones that you want to add to the box. Keep it kind of going. So anyway, that is what I have going for you guys today. Is my fucking sweet recommendation book and my awesome box of awesomeness. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to keep reading. Excuse me. And I have a Reiki share in a couple hours. I've never been to one, because everyone that I said I was going to go to got canceled. So I'm going to go and do some Reiki today with some pendulums and some crystals and some people that I don't know, but I'm excited to get to know, and so I'm really excited. So I hope that you guys have a fantabulous day, and I'm going to go have a super fantabulous day, and I love you all, and I'll see you later. Bye!